Rahl Jewelers is the proud sponsor of Raging Mouth, the Mike North story, coming soon. Welcome, everyone, to Mike North's Presser, brought to you by Rahl Jewelers, our friends over in Hoffman Estates on Barrington Road. We'll talk more about them shortly. I'm taking a look to see if Mike is taking his place behind the podium. He has a lot to share today, including 3 new How Dare Yous. So we can't wait to hear those. That was a big smash hit on last week's show. I think Mike is ready to go. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Well, the Bears covered for me yesterday. That's one thing that I'm happy about. I mean, if we can't beat them, let's cover it. I mean, first of all, I want to wish you and Donna and your family and Torian and everybody, all the listeners and all the people, Doodles, all the pets, Chris Watts, all you folks, a wonderful Thanksgiving, a bountiful Thanksgiving. And you know what? Just be thankful that we're here to discuss the opportunity of what's going to happen to the Bears and what's the fate going to be, because there's more question marks more than ever about the Chicago Bear team. And I got to believe that, I'm seeing different camps, and that means there's some that are holdouts, some that are hanging in there. Now, the holdouts will always hold out. The hanging in there are saying he's still got an opportunity. And then there's other guys that are going, you can't have a 6-26 record. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not all his fault, but some of it is. He's the quarterback, and that's bad on the resume. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're here and get rid of the coaches. If we win that game yesterday, we're not saying that, but understood why we lost that game. And it was all hands on deck to absolve Justin Fields, especially when he had that turnover and he's looking this way when the most dangerous man on the field and one of the top 10 most dangerous defensive ends in football is coming from that end. Bart Starr once said this back in 1964, 65. He said, there's always one guy that could cause havoc for you. You got to keep your eye on him at all times.
You got to know where he is at.
Yeah. You got to know where Butkus is. You got to know where Nitschke was. You got to know where Reggie White was. You got to know where Lawrence Taylor was. I don't know who called the play, but, Justin Fields is anxious to run every other time, and he goes back to pass, and he's looking this way. And they got him calling a pocket pass with one of the most dangerous defensive ends who I loved out of Michigan, Hutchinson, aggravated as it was about the dance Fields did. That's another one where half the people are good with it, half the people aren't. I never cared if he did it or not at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he's looking this way. He doesn't even feel the guy coming on him. And that's a quarterback flaw. You got to sense what's happening, and you got to get rid of the ball. And he held on to it a little bit yesterday in the fourth quarter. 2 sacks. He threw for 169 yards, folks. He didn't throw for 300. It should have been enough to win, but they only scored 6 points in the fourth quarter. And that was the downfall. We were settling for field goals. Eberflus will never go for things on 4th and 1. Ever. I mean, he hardly ever goes for 4th and 1. He'll either punt or kick a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what I saw yesterday was a complete team breakdown. He got so outcoached by Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions in the fourth quarter. It was silly.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, just silly. I mean, he knew Eberflus, who blitzed earlier in the game, would play not to lose. He knew it. He knew he'd play that stupid cover 2, okay, which is good maybe in the third quarter. But when you got Jared Goff, who still had a horrible game, the coaching staff gets a D-. They would have gotten a B- or a C had they not lost their nerve. They lost their nerve. Justin Field had another turnover. And where was the bombs more frequently? He threw that beautiful 39-yard pass to Moore. Now, people's going, well, look, he threw for 169 yards. You take that 30-yard pass away, that's not 169 yards. You took a 39-yard pass away. That's 129 yards that you threw for a football game. And people are saying there's no problem with that? And he shook the rust off? No. It's a whole team breakdown, folks. Because I had a dream last night. Well, really, it was a nightmare. Where they had a football league on another planet. And Justin Fields went in there to apply. And there was like the head of the planet's football league. Give us your resume. Well, I was 6-26 as a starter. Whew. Terrible. How? That must have been hard for you. No, not really. Everybody else got the blame. The offensive line, the coaching staff, other players, stuff like that. So I really didn't take that much of a hit. And there's always that group of people that will back me. I could take a dump on the field and they'd go, well, the toilet wasn't close enough. So there's always that, folks. But to be honest with you, I don't think it was me. I think it was most of the other people. And then you'd go, well, let's go here. It says here the quarterback you replaced had 5 game-winning drives in his career and 8 fourth-quarter comebacks for 13 in 4 years. It says you had 2. Well, it was the guys around me. See, what I'm trying to say is I don't mind everybody taking the blame. What I do mind is the quarterback taking none of it. And he had a turnover. He had 169 yards. We can do better than that. He can too. But I'm panning the whole team today. So, I don't know. I will ask Geldo his opinion, but you cannot walk around going, and I read yesterday all over social media. He's back. He's back. I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen anything like it. The oatmeal that 3 people died from is back at our restaurant. Come on in. I mean, you cannot say one guy's back and the rest of the team sucks. Komet's clutches were down. Moore was hardly seen after that bomb, which was beautiful. Beautiful throw. He looked like Lamar Jackson there. And then there's other times he looks like Manziel. So we're missing the continuity of him being consistent. I'm not ready to throw him out because I don't see anything in the college game that's enamored me. Caleb Williams is a flunky. That's my opinion. You don't like it? Tough. Goes, he is. And then I'm watching this guy Nix, who was in the SEC, who was benched by Auburn, folks, go to the Pac-12 and throw 6 touchdowns in one game. So be careful about all these Pac-12 guys. They don't play any defense. That's why the kid went to Oregon. Better athletes, no defense. Guess what? I throw 6 touchdowns in one game. Look at my guy Slim. He's a little bit like Scottie Pippen. Anyway.
Kind of a cross between Pippen and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Right?
The beard. Maybe trim it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I love the look.
So look, I do too. Anyway, so that's my press conference. You cannot absolve anybody when you have the worst loss in NFL history, where you had the ball 40 minutes, you caused over 3 turnovers, and you lose. It's just a debacle right now. And if they decided to clean house next year, nobody could say it. I'm talking players, most of the players and the coaching staff. And if they decide we're going to give it 1 year, I don't know where to go. I know this. When you have your backups that are 6-7 and you're 6-26, that's an issue. What is wrong? It's the fourth quarter. And it's not only his fault, it's the coaching staff fault also. We got to win one of these games. Justin Fields has had, I saw where Trubisky's had 13 come from behind or fourth quarter wins. 13 in his career with the Bears. Fields has had two. Both in 2022. And I didn't even remember those. He's got to start taking the bull by the horns later in the game. That's all. So, Eldo,
right.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Godson says you can't take away that 39-yard pass.
Was beautiful.
I mean,
oh, you mean if you take it away from him? Yeah, I understand that.
Right.
But then why weren't there more? Why is it 130 yards after that? Sure, you can. You can take it off. If a guy runs 99 yards for a touchdown and they go, well, he ran for 100 yards again today, 107. Well, wait, that means he only got, what you will also bring in that he ran 99 yards, which is great. He's got a touchdown. What I'm trying to say is, and maybe this is the coaching staff, Getsy was more flamboyant in the first three quarters. In the fourth quarter, they played not to lose. They played not to lose, and that's exactly why they lost. Oh, and I want to thank, who's our lineman that kicked the ball out of the end zone?
Darnell Wright.
Oh, I got to get his head.
Saved you.
Oh, I was like this. The ball, Fields fumbles the ball. Now the ball's rolling. Now you folks got to know, on the odds couple, I took the Bears as my main pick. I never do that. So now the ball's rolling. And I go, and I'm going, this would have been the worst bad beat of all time. You got the game in hand with 4 minutes left. You're winning by 12, and you lose and don't cover. And Darnell Wright kicked the ball out of the end zone. And I was still worried I wasn't going to cover. So at least something went right.
That was huge. That was really huge. All right. There was another play that you forgot to mention, and that was this one. This was Fields throwing to the rookie, Tyler Scott, 3rd down and 9. 2.5 minutes to go. This easily would have been a 45-yard touch or a 45-yard catch, or maybe even a touchdown. This wasn't on Fields. This was on the young receiver, Tyler Scott, slowing down. You will see it on the replay here as isolated. He is guarded. He beats the man off the line of scrimmage. He goes towards the sideline, and then he slows down, and then he picks up speed. If he doesn't slow down in that instant, that ball lands in his hands, and he is gone, possibly for a touchdown, adding some 50 to 60 yards to his.
There you go. There you go. That's why I'm not blaming just Fields. And that was one that I saw when it happened. I go, the great receivers keep running. They start out, they don't even look back. And then they figure it in their head, but he's a rookie. It's time to turn around. But you don't slow down. That would have been beautiful. There's no doubt about it, Al. That's what, and you know what? That's what we want to see more of. We got 6 more weeks of seeing what Justin Fields could do. I think tomorrow, this one, you just wipe off the books. In fact, if you want to really give Justin Fields the benefit of the doubt, they should have won that game. They should have.
And he said that afterwards. He says, I'm being honest with you all.
Yeah.
We should have won that game. And he's absolutely right. I appreciate the candor on his part. And I think you're absolutely right, Mike, when you say that there's plenty of blame to go around. Remember this play. Jalen Johnson, who wants to be paid like a top cornerback, drops an easy pick 6 touchdown. And early in the second quarter, he reads the play tremendously, and the ball hits him in the hands, and he fails to make the big play for the defense that would have given them a commanding lead. That's the type of stuff that leads to these awful win-loss records.
Another one, I mean, here's a guy that shooting his mouth off, dogging the team. Should have had that ball. I mean, they say defensive backs are receivers that can't catch. And that's why they play it. And and he should have had it. It's what you dream about. Anybody that ever played sandlot ball that ever got one of those and ran 50, 60 yards, it's a thrill of a lifetime. Right. So I know he went to bed last night thinking, basically that's it. And, I should have had that ball, and they'll show that on film. Oh, they got plenty of film. And I just want the players to understand. I want the players to hear this. You can ask questions. I hope so too. Like, why do you run for the first 2 downs when time's running out? Why don't, I saw Pete Carroll yesterday. end up kicking a 55-yard field goal because he called a running play for the last play to get in more field goal range, throw a pass. I'd rather you kick a 57-yarder than run for 2 yards and miss it. So, and he's a smart guy. There's just play calling all over the league. Now, I'll say this about Pete Carroll. It's like they never had Russell Wilson. They should have won that game yesterday, go 7-3. They're 6-4. They take a cast off like Geno Smith. And all of a sudden, he's good. If the Bears said tomorrow, we got Geno Smith as your starting quarterback and Pete Carroll's going to be our head coach, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would not have a problem with that because I know this. Both guys are better than what we got right now. Geno Smith's a better. He got hurt. They were winning 17-6. Taken out of the game. Rams won 19-17. Period.
Yeah.
So you give me a Pete Carroll at coach. He's 71. Well, welcome to the club. I am too. And so is Rick Pitino. That's the triumphant, ladies and gentlemen. 71 is the magic number. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you got Pete Carroll. If the Bears hired him tomorrow, I'd go, oh, my God. He knows how to adjust. How is it? We can get rid of Garoppolo, and you can get rid of, not make it Trey Lance. And you got a guy like Purdy walking in, and he might win MVP, and we looking for a quarterback for a half a century. So there's coaching. Shanahan's a quarterback coach.
It's sort of like an organizational thing or a curse. Right. What's going on?
I mean, my God, there's teams that lose 2-3 guys, and then they go, well, look at this guy. He's unbelievable. I'm going, we can't find one guy, and when we do, we get rid of him. Or we blow him out of town. I'm from the school. I mean, I saw Michael Jordan get kicked out of town. So if he can get kicked out of town, anybody can. Anybody in this town. There's no love in this town for players. There isn't. The franchises will blame everybody else. Michael Jordan was told to leave. He went to the Washington Wizards, and the next year played all 82 games and averaged 20 points a game. Yet for all he did, he was told to leave. So it can happen. If it can happen to Jordan, it can happen to anybody. Period. End of story. So if Justin Fields isn't on this team next year, I don't think Bear fans are going to go, oh, my God. Oh, my God. They might. The Fields people might be upset. I'll probably be upset because I don't want another rookie. We can't sit through that. I'd rather go with Fields and Bagent next year than do that. Or pick up a damn veteran quarterback to help things along because we do need more than the quarterback, but the quarterback has got to start doing some fourth quarter things, and the coaching staff has to grow with them.
Let's take a look at the last 4 games that Justin Fields has played. Very busy graphic here. He started his turnaround this season against the Broncos when he was 28-35, 335 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, rush for 25 yards, although they did blow that 28-7 lead.
Yeah, so, it's not the first time they've done this. That's the part. That's the funny part, Al. That's a great pickup. They blew that game, and they sent the Broncos on their way to maybe going to the playoffs now.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point. And then their first victory of the season, Fields and DJ Moore had a great game together. He threw to DJ for 4 touchdowns, 15 out of 29, 283 yards. He had 57 yards rushing. And then the following game was where he got injured, and he really wasn't playing well early in that game. It was 6 for 10, 50 yards. The stats aren't bad, but he did throw an interception. And just that was a game that I don't think the Bears were going to solve that blitzing Vikings defense. And then yesterday, the numbers weren't tremendous, although he did rush for 104 yards, and that's a big part of his arsenal. But as Brad Biggs pointed out today, Mike, is if he were to run that often, like he did against Detroit, he'd never make it through a season. In fact, he's never made it through a season. He's had injuries. So that's one of the problems you have to put take account for when you're wondering what's his future.
Nobody wants to win more than him, but he doesn't know how to do it at the end of a game. And the rest of the team has to get better. I see effort out of him. He runs. They're designing runs. They had, while Bajan was playing and they had to buy, they put the Lamar Jackson package in for him. If we're going to win with this kid, we're going to have to play it this way. So they let him run. And then all of a sudden, when we get late in the game, They turn him into Joe Flacco. He's standing in the pocket. I just don't. I don't see the verve to win in the fourth quarter that I see the verve to win in the second quarter, because the fourth quarter, bad things happen, and the worst thing that you could have is a coach whose keister gets tight, like Eberflus's. He, no doubt, yesterday, it's one of the most embarrassing losses in National Football League history, and they own that, and every player on that team owns it. And what I was saying earlier is, I hope when they're dissecting on tape what the players are doing wrong, I hope players can come back and say to them what they think they're doing wrong. Because as a guy that's been watching this game since 1961, like I said, everybody's got that weight around their neck of, we caused this yesterday. Everybody, including, and by the way, it's so refreshing to hear. I come on the bar room about a month ago, ESPN, they're stealing from me again, Aldo, all over. Steal. Yeah. Oh, you know what I'd like to see happen? What? Marvin Harrison is the #1 pick and Jim Harbaugh was our coach. Thank you. Thank you. I don't want a quarterback. Give me Marvin Harrison. People are going to go, well, drafting a wide receiver first is a no-no. Shut up.
Exactly.
This guy's special. This guy's a game changer. Okay. I know Lynn Swann didn't go till 16th pick. I know wide receivers that don't. You get this guy whose dad was a great receiver, and this kid's better, could be better, along with more. Then you got something. Then you can. I know you can pick up receivers in the 4th and 5th round. I know that, but not like this kid. Not like this guy. And then work on your line. Work on your defensive line in the 2nd. You got another pick in the 1st round, I think. Work on your defensive line. Work on your offensive line. But pick that kid 1. You got a superstar that will sell tickets for you and will get the job done, barring injury.
All right, let's address some of the comments and questions in the chat room. Ravi and some other people in the chat room are saying that the Bears really wanted to lose, at least the coaching staff and general managers. Do you think that the Bears are purposely tanking?
Why? They don't have to. They got the first pick. Why are you tanking? Why are you tanking? You got the first pick. That's all. I can't take it anymore. You tank if you don't have the first pick and you try to get the first pick. I'm almost in tears with these Bear fans. Who are you listening to? I mean, my God, we got the first pick. So we don't have to tank. We could go 12-5 if we wanted. And it don't matter. We got the first pick. That's one of the things polls did. And the obvious, look, you could take a Pac-12 quarterback, Pennick, Caleb Williams, he's still crying in the stands. He wouldn't talk to the press last week. You don't want that tool. You don't want Cutler, too. You don't want a piece of you-know-what. No, you don't want that. A rookie that's going to act like that. I'm not talking to the press today. And then last week, I'm going to go into the stands and cry with my mother. There's 3-4 quarterbacks. Mommy, there's 3-4. Look at me and Elda. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. There's 3-4 quarterbacks in the Pac-12. I mean, Nick's got benched, and then he goes to Oregon. He throws 6 touchdowns in one game. No, take Harrison, and then just draft big fat guys.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, big fat guys. I think our secondary's okay. Our linebackers, our defense played great. That's the thing that's being buried because they choked in this 4th quarter. Okay.
Rafi says he's just trying to spice things up. He went full crazy on us. It's a good thought, though, because I do hear that a lot, Ravi. And so I'm glad that you brought it up. You're not the only one, wondering if the Bears are trying to lose so that they can get not only the first pick, but the 2nd or 3rd pick, have 1 and 3. No. But I just don't see that. Eberflus is going to get fired. Yeah.
Look, so like I told Paulie Howard on Visson, he goes, maybe we can get Caleb Williams. I went, why? But they're out there in the West Coast. They're in Las Vegas. Okay. I go, no matter what. Here's what we do know in Chicago. The Bears can't pick their nose. So I don't know what they're going to do. Would it surprise you if they took some guy you've never heard of? I mean, I remember one year the Bears took we had a high pick, 2 high picks in the first round. They took Joe Moore and James Harrison, both running backs.
I remember that.
So now, wait a minute, I'll never forget this. We're kids. We go to Soldier Field to watch the Bears practice because Wrigley Field was being used by the Cubs. So they practice at Soldier Field. Me and my buddies cut school. We get on the yell. We're running. Nice. We're like, we can't wait to see a Bears practice. We sneak in.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we go out and we wait for the players. Here comes a phone. Here comes, and I end up famous. Do I end up working with the guys? Here comes
pretty awesome.
Jerry, Bill Staley, all these guys. Ross Brubacher. I mean, and then here come 2 guys on crutches. I go, who? My buddy Ace goes, those? They're your 2 draft picks. They were both injured. They had bad knees. And they never panned out to nothing. So, I mean, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
How do you take 2 running backs, 1 and 2, from the same school, and they're both cripples?
Yes. Probably not.
Oh, we just said retard. We're bringing back the hits of the system.
We're bringing back words that we were told to use.
Were told you could say, and all of a sudden it's
and now we're told not to. So, crazy world we live in.
Shove it up your ass. No, fuck that.
All right. Mike says, Mike, if they get a new coach, what do you think about Brian Kelly, the former Notre Dame coach who's now at LSU? He's turned around every team he's gone to. Any thoughts on Brian Kelly?
They got 3 losses this year. LSU, he wasn't the coach when they won the championship. Burrow was. Burrow was the LSU was a famous school. Brian Kelly made the mistake. And then he goes there and it talks like this. When he loses, well, we did the best we could. And when he wins, how about it? He gets the draw going. Mistake by him. He's got 3 losses. They're in a stacked SEC, but he got all that money. But he's I think he's a phony. I would never want Brian Kelly. If I had to take a call, there's like 5 coaches that are automatics for me in pro football. One of them is Pete Carroll. I love Pete Carroll. Don't matter what kind of team he's got. Who's your quarterback? The guy we just picked him up. He's homeless by the dumpster. Put in a package for him. I mean, they just know how to win. And there's like 5 or 6 coaches like that. Then you got coaches like Eberflus and the guy from San Diego or the Chargers who lost again yesterday. I mean, who loses by 3 every week. They can't close either. And Herbert's their quarterback. So I know this. You know who had a better day than Justin Field did yesterday?
Who's that?
Tommy DeVito. He's a good kid. His father owned a deli. And LaMarcus lived around the corner. And she was the godmother to Tommy. Good kid. How about that?
How about that?
Rivera. Hey, Chico Rivera. The Bears might be. Well, I don't know if you bring him in as maybe a DC. He's not going to be a head coach. You can't beat the Giants. He lost to the Giants twice. You think the Bears got problems? Yeah.
They got big problems. Jordan wants to remind everyone that you're the guy that wanted Deion Sanders at head coach. What do you say now about Deion? And I got to remind people that Jordan was the one that wanted Brian Dable, and Brian Dable's record this season is 3-8. So you all make mistakes, Jordan. Go ahead.
When you won no games last year and you've won 4 games this year, it's not a mistake. I think Deion Sanders was the face of college football, at least for 5-6 weeks. And Deion Sanders, if you noticed, I never gave a damn about Colorado football. Now I'm checking to see what Colorado did because they were 4-point underdogs. They lost. But he says he's bringing in new players. His kid got hurt. They haven't had enough. Everybody knew that they were going to play 5-6 ranked teams that are better than him. But from what he's done, he's made Colorado a destination. Check with me in 2 years if he stays. Because I would love to play for Deion Sanders in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I'd play for Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
But his in-game coaching, I'm going to give Jordan this. His in-game coaching has to be better, and his coordinator's got to be better, period, end of story. Because I think they could have won another game at least.
Yeah. The one thing about Deion Sanders.
I love Harbaugh.
Yeah, well, Harbaugh's still number 1 on your list, right?
Yeah, I mean, the cheating thing. I mean, they steal sides. Come on, and then he says, "I'm gonna fight this till the day I die." And then a week later, he goes, "All right, we'll take the suspension because he did something. They did something."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but and they almost lost this week.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my guy Jordan. See, that's a gentleman.
He is. He's a class act. Co-host of the Barfly Tailgate Show. And
I love the Barfly Tailgate Show. I love the logo. I love the whole thing. I love the bar room. You know, folks, let me tell you what I'm thankful for. Just thinking, Eldo Gandia. I'm glad he's feeling good. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had half the fun. I mean, I still have fun, but not the fun I've had over the past. I don't know how many years we've been on together. 6. I don't know what it is.
I think it's like 6 now.
Yeah. We're not, so I love the bar room. I love everybody. Yeah, Ravi, it's a great, and you got everybody's different opinions from Coach Gabriel to Johnny Buffon, to everybody. I mean,
Jordan.
Just name it. And I better name Parisi.
That's right.
Like the guy in Goodfellas that was a nice truck. Remember that guy?
Love that scene.
I love that scene. He had to hang in a truck through 6 hours.
Poor guy.
We almost got the shot, Jimmy.
That's right. Never saw him in another movie again.
You know who came to Pappy Land and was one of the big thrills of my life? Jazz commentary.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony Darrow. Now, Tony Darrow's the guy in Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. They had dinner at my house with me and B. And Keely Smith was there. He was the guy in Goodfellas that signed the restaurant off. He's going, this is a shame. Yeah. Tony was a great guy. He was in The Sopranos. Great. A legitimate, you know what I mean? Ben knows. A legitimate guy. And, he did some jail time, just like Paulie Walnuts, but they were in my home and we had a good time.
Scorsese has done a great job of employing ex-cons over the years.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? I mean, unbelievable,
he really has.
Nobody talked faster than him. He would have been a good talk show host.
We got a few more that I want to get to before we get to our next segment. JoJo says, if we're up in the fourth quarter, bring in Tyson Bagent to ice the game. What do you think about that idea?
I told Aldo this last week, and I've told Carmen DeFalco this. Last week, and I meant it. I was rooting for either quarterback. I didn't get into why are they starting Fields Bagents on a roll. They 2-2. Let's go 3-2, which is a legitimate argument if you want to give it. But you'll get there. We drafted the guy number 1 for a reason. The torches are going. But I had no problem either one. And Jimmy 2 times is a legend, Taurus. No doubt about it. Got to get the papers.
Josh is right. Thankful for the bar room and the originators of sports talk in Chicago. Mike.
You know what Jiggs told me?
What did he say?
Dan Jiggets gave me so much wisdom. Thank God for Dan Jiggets. Because those were the years where I'd go, are you ready? And he'd go, yeah, we got an hour before we go on the air. I was ready to go all the time. And Jiggs was that common guy that influence, but he told me something, and this goes for Justin Fields, the Bears, and all the teams in Chicago. I'll remember it. But they ran the ball, they ate up clock, and Jig said to me, Mackie, don't ever confuse activity with accomplishment. And he's right. We did a lot yesterday and lost the game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I heard other people today talking on TV. Looking at the Bears box score, it's hard to believe they lost that game.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we did it after the game. We did a show, and
I bet you that was a lark. I bet you that was
gosh!
How many guys lost their temper?
All of us.
That's why I don't do after show. I'll turn the damn desk over.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. I'll tell you that. I was prepared to come in and have some laughs and be happy. I had some confetti I was going to throw up in the air and stuff, and it was just so frustrating. Anyway,
it's like the guy in Get Shorty at the beginning of the movie, the big fat guy that's going upstairs to meet somebody.
Yes.
You think you're going to a surprise party? You think you knew the party was happening. He didn't. He walks in, they yell surprise, the guy drops dead of a heart attack.
I love that.
Yesterday.
I love that.
Yeah.
Michael Henneman reminds us that Casino, one of your favorite movies, Mike, is underrated.
I got the light on the top of my head. If you watch Scorsese,
yeah,
it's so funny. There's mistakes in their movies because I watch them all. When he throws Ginger out of the house,
played by Sharon Stone.
Yeah. Oh, F you, you know, Rothstein. And it's nighttime. If you look up at the transit, it's daytime. They're in a studio. You know. So I love Scorsese, but he even misses stuff. But it's a great movie, outstanding movie. There's always there's always a scene that you're gonna wait for. That's all I'm telling you.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. All right, Mike, it is Thanksgiving, and I know that every year you have advice for us. You have like your gospel of Thanksgiving. Why don't you share with this audience?
Yeah, you know, Aldo, I started doing this in the 90s, 92. I saw my top 10 Thanksgiving Day tips to make sure that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you can't abide by these simple rules, and some things have changed over the years. And I'll let you know what has changed. Okay. Number 10, my age now, a lighter meal. Not 19 things on the plate. You know, you ever see these people? Look at it. Look what I got. Yes. And then the guy can't breathe an hour later.
You're calling the ambulance.
He's on the couch. He falls asleep. He's drooling out of the side of his mouth. You know, got booze on his breath. No good. A couple of pieces of, you know, some turkey, little dressing, maybe a vegetable, no pop, no carbonation, fills you up too fast, takes away your lasting power. So that's number 10, light meal. Number 9, light clothing. You know, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can't, to the people that come with the heavy shirt, the flannel shirt, you don't know if you're visiting, you don't know what the temperatures are going to be in their house. You got pants with the belt. You wear pants with a belt, you're defeating the purpose. The belt's going to break if you eat. Absolutely. So that's number 9. Number 8. Yes, this is new, or was new a few years back. We didn't have this in the 90s. No cell phones. You shut off the cell phone when you're at the dinner table. You got family. You got friends. Hey, Mike, how about those bears? Excuse me. Hello. Don't work.
I agree.
You know, number 7. Don't keep the thermostat at 70 or above. Keep it at 66, 67. You know, because if you keep it over 70, turkey overheats you. It really does. It overheats you. It screws you up. They got the tryptophan in there. The next thing you know, you're sitting on the chair, you're falling asleep. Okay. Number 6, try to eat at halftime. Try to eat at halftime. Now there's 3 games. There used to be 1 game, and they were early, but now there's 3. But if you got money on a game and it's the 4th quarter and it's time to eat, there's a problem. You're going to be getting up. I got to go to the bathroom. You're going to be checking the scores. You got 5 guys in there looking, you know, half of them are pissed because they're losing their bet. Okay. Number 5. Oh, yeah. Just invite who you want. I know some families. Yeah, it's happened to me. You have people over you can't stand sometimes. And I'm not taking myself out of that equation. You know, bottom line is, try to keep it the family. If you have somebody you don't like, try to sit them on the other end of the table. If they're family, you got to have them. If you have it at your house. Okay. Number 4, make sure if you have it, there's enough for leftovers, and make sure you get them after you get them. After you give somebody a plate, you can get BB makes up a plate for people when we're not having it this year, but she makes up a plate for people and then gives it to them. But then she makes sure that there's plenty, you know, of food for me and for her on Friday and Saturday. I'll probably cut it off on Friday. I used to go all weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Love it.
You know, then you got 9, then you got 8 chins, and then you're man. You know? Number 3. Aldo will love this one. No political talk.
Oh, yes.
Dear Lord, no political talk.
Stay away.
Yeah, you know, I really don't have anything against guys swimming with girls with their balls hanging out of their shorts. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. No, that's where the problem starts. Oh, your guy's a jerk. Your guy's a jerk. Would you like some more turkey? No, I don't. I don't want to. So we don't need. We don't need any. We don't need any political talk. And number 2, try to have it at your house if you can. And if you don't have to have people, try to just have it with you and your family, your wife or your kids. That's it. You know, the extravaganzas, there's time for that. There's always times for that. And do me a favor on number 2. If you can't bet without losing your temper, you know, your mother says, isn't this nice? What? No. Because the team just scored. What'd you say? No. It's supposed to be a nice time. Don't bet if you're going to go nuts. Okay. And number 1.
Number 1. Drum roll, please.
Happy Thanksgiving to one and all, my friend. The 32nd year of Thanksgiving Day tips.
That is extraordinary. And you've updated it too. I love that.
Yeah, got to update it for Aldo. Are you kidding me? Got to update it for Aldo. And we also got, how dare you?
How dare you? Now, let's explain this concept. And first of all, I want to know, how is it that you came up with this? How
you know what? I did Jag Bag. That's when Ron Gleason told me, because I remember one day I was on the air at the Score, and I said, I forget who I was talking about. I go, he's a jag-off. They go, and Gleason's listening on the radio, and, you know, the program directors listen. He goes, so commercial comes, and he used to stick his head in the door, and he'd go, and I'd look at him, he'd go, I go to Jigs, I'm in trouble. I knew that was going to happen. And then I go in, he goes, you can't say jag off on me. I go, what can I say? You want a street guy? It's street language. Figure it out. So then I said jag bag, and it became famous. It's in the Urban Dictionary.
That's right.
But I don't want to copy that. I decided to do something else because it's with the times now. Oh, dare you. That's that.
I love it.
It used to be screw you. It's how dare you now. And it's 3 people or 3 things that happened. And we did one last week. It's going to be up today. Aldo's going to put both up. He's going to do a little extra duty today for me and for him.
My pleasure.
Because it's a genius thing.
Yes,
Aldo one that night said to me, we were having a couple beers together. And he said, hey, you know what? Why don't you come up with a new segment? Can you come up with one? And I said, maybe how dare you? He goes, yeah, it's good. Nah, it never happened. I thought you would go. I knew you'd go, but I couldn't.
But no, he went, how dare you? And I went, I'm sorry. I'm just making a suggestion. He goes, no, how dare you?
So we got 3, and we'll have them both up later. Number 3, Carissa Thompson. I'm sorry, girlfriend. I am so sorry, girlfriend. While women have, I had women that worked for me, from Jen Patterson, Abby Poliski. They didn't work for me. They worked at the Score. But we hired ladies back in the day. Julie Swyka. I know Peggy Kaczynski. These are pioneers that have to bust their ass. And I know Peggy works hard. I know Bonnie Bernstein used to break her, her back. Michelle Tafoya. I know these people. Quality. Bonnie Bernstein's still my favorite sideline reporter of all time. Period. And then you have Michelle Tafoya, and I wrote down some other ones here that are good. Laura Oakman, Taylor McGregor. These people work. And then you got this girl who's now, I did it 15 years ago because I wanted to just be lazy, and I was good looking enough to someday get my own pre-game show. But why would you even say something like this? It just stains everybody else. I know Eldo, and there's guys too. Chris Myers,
Oh,
Armin
yeah.
Catanian. It's not just the girls thing. And to me, every time I see her now, and yesterday, there was a girl on the Ram game going, I talked to her, and you know what I said afterwards? I don't believe you. I don't think you talked to anybody. You know, that's what we got in our head now. Because Carissa Thompson took the easy way out. She used her guile, used whatever asset she had. Smart, pretty, learned, but lazy on the sidelines. So, Carissa Thompson, how dare you?
Yes. Wait a minute. I got my sound effect. Say that again. Carissa Thompson.
Carissa Thompson. You're going to love this. How dare you?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you want me to do it again? That's it.
Sorry.
All right. Number 2. Look, I know sports has become weaker, softer. Now they're talking about if you tackle a guy a certain way, it's a hip tackle. They don't want you hitting high. They don't want you hitting low. They don't want you hitting in the middle. Just put flags on them, whatever. But what's really changed is the announcers. The lead announcers were Fox, Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews. I'm sorry, I come from Summerall, Brookshire, Ray Scott. Back in the day, I come with Lindsey Nelson, accomplished guys. This is their number 1 team that replaced Madden back in the day. I don't mind. We used to hear commercials. Eldo will tell you this in the 60s, 70s. Watch Dick Butkus rip the Packers apart. Or watch Johnny Unitas dissect the Atlanta Falcons with Raymond Berry. You know what we got now? We got stuff like Sacramonious, Sacrilegious. You see the commercials they're doing?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Baby KK? What is that? Your baby KK. These are football people. We're football people. I don't get the commercial. The other one sucks. I'm tired of seeing it. Tired of seeing both of them. I got them memorized. They're so bad because you can't escape it.
Yeah. Over and over again.
Over and over. So to all the people at Fox, get rid of those damn commercials, and how dare you?
Oh, I did it again. I'm too busy laughing.
You're going to be in the segment. Okay. Last but not least. Hey! You're going to go to the NBA tournament? The what? The NBA tournament. It's an in-season tournament. They have different floors, and you're supposed to be excited. No. You play in June for the championship. Oh, no. Because now we want to be like Europe. Europe does it. Yeah. Europe does it, and they have better basketball. Here's what I want. The world versus the USA in the All-Star game. But we'll lose. Because they'd have Jokic, Doncic, the Greek Freak. We'd get our brains beat in, okay? Don't even try to pretend. I told David Stern they should do this. He goes, no. Why wouldn't you? You pay per view. Each player gets $5 million that play for blood. But then I only got 3 of these. But can I include something else? Forget about the NBA tournament. That wasn't the worst thing. The Formula One from Las Vegas with 11 people going. Okay. Walking off the strip. Crashes because Rick in a Ferrari because it hit a pothole.
Oh, my goodness.
They're racing on the strip. People can't see the hotels. They got barricades. They can't get to where they got to go. You go to Vegas, you save. You bring your family, you save. And all you hear in the middle of the night, because they had to race at night, to with 10 people in the stands going, yippee. Dare you? And that is our how dare you for today.
Oh, finally I got a cue right. How dare you, Aldo?
You were great, Aldo. Now, but anyway, that how many minutes we've been on the air?
50 minutes and 5 seconds. And
well,
ticking.
I'll tell you what. I think we got a lot accomplished today. And the bookie priest couldn't make it. He's in Our Lady of Potential Agony Church, which is on the west side. And there was somebody got hit by a car, so he's administering last rites on Polk Street, Polk and Damon. So yeah, he says he'll come on next week with us. So Aldo,
excellent.
Have a great day. Have a great Thanksgiving. Likewise. And to all the barroom people and to everybody, we love you. I'm very fortunate to have this platform. I've never taken anything for granted in my life. I love doing what we do. Put a microphone in front of me. I won't shut up. But I'm going to tell everybody this. Don't you shut up ever either. You got an opinion, you use it. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody and to you, Aldo.
You're the best, Mike North. We'll see you next week, brother.
All right, guys.